UFC 297 just wrapped up, and we have a new middleweight champion in the world in Dricus Du Plessis.
There was another guy who tried to take my shine. He lost his shine, now I have your shine. You didn't get into the cage enough, but Israel Adesanya, get your ass back in the UFC so we can settle this score.
Dricus Du Plessis is the truth, fight fans. He's the best middleweight in the world, without being conventionally technical, because he is...
It's deceptively technical.
Yeah.
In fact...
And he's awkward as hell.
And nobody knows how to deal with his herky-jerky movements and frightening skill set. But these reasons are only the tip of the iceberg. To fully understand why everyone in the UFC middleweight division, including former kingpin Israel Adesanya, should be scared of Dricus Du Plessis, stay with us till the end. Dricus Du Plessis has been rising and rising in the UFC since his debut in 2020. Make no mistake about it, Du Plessis has been hit and he's been tested inside the UFC's Coliseum of violence, the Octagon, time and again. But he has still somehow managed to keep a perfect record, all while taking out some of the best fighters in the business. DDP most recently beat Sean Strickland to win the UFC middleweight title at UFC 297. He was a sizable underdog, yet he overcame the odds to ascend to the throne. He is...
Du Plessis turns out is a hell of a lot better than we knew he was.
But is he good enough to stay at the top of the middleweight food chain for a long time? The UFC middleweight division has gotten a whole lot tougher during the past year. So much so that even the previously undefeated Israel Adesanya lost his belt twice, and Alex Pereira and Sean Strickland lost theirs in their first title defense. Du Plessis' first title defense will likely be against his arch-rival Adesanya, and what a seriously dangerous test it is for the newly crowned champion. But guess what? He has the tools to pass it with flying colors.
Well, Izzy DDP, who do you think wins that?
You know what? I'm going to say DDP.
Now, Robert Whittaker is a guy who has fought and lost to both Israel Adesanya and Dricus Du Plessis. So if he says DDP will win a potential fight between the two phenoms, we'll take his word for it. But let's keep opinions aside for a few minutes and discuss facts. Israel Adesanya has lost 2 out of his last 3 title fights. He first lost to Alex Pereira, came back and knocked him out in a brutal fashion, and then got outplayed by Sean Strickland. Whether in victory or defeat, it was visible that Izzy wasn't as sharp against Pereira and Strickland as he was against Paulo Costa, Marvin Vettori, or Robert Whittaker.
Israel looked like he was in slow motion. He looked like he couldn't get off.
Maybe his personal troubles had a role to play in his performances inside the cage. For instance, before his loss to Sean Strickland, Izzy was caught drunk driving. He had never done that before in his life. But that's the issue with inner demons. They can overpower humans at any time. It's clear that Izzy is mentally not where he wants to be. He's clearly struggling, and he is in a completely opposite state of mind compared to Du Plessis, who appears to be one of the most confident and thick-skinned dudes in the division. Du Plessis is a hulking middleweight. He is big, he's mean, and he's strong, and he knows how to make the most of his physical gifts. He knows how to win fights by steamrolling people. He's always walking his opponents down like a zombie, and he lands haymakers out of absolutely nowhere. That is a dangerous fight for anyone, and especially for Israel Adesanya, who had his offense completely shut down by a forward-pressing Sean Strickland. Izzy is a masterful counter-striker than DDP, which is true, but DDP is a master at mixing things up.
That he's more than just bigger. He's more than just physically stronger. He's more than just explosive. That he's smart.
Before entering the unforgiving world of mixed martial arts, Du Plessis represented South Africa in kickboxing at the Waco World Championships. So it's not wrong to say that his striking style is unique and has shades of his kickboxing background, which is evident in the way he manages distance. Du Plessis is a switch stance fighter, adept at attacking as both a southpaw and orthodox fighter. His primary transition methods include powerful crosses and switch kicks, which are delivered from unusual angles. While low calf kicks are common in MMA, Du Plessis distinguishes himself with his distinctive switch kicking style, often targeting the body and occasionally incorporating stomps and question mark kicks. Known for offbeat combinations, Du Plessis surprises opponents with lead leg switch kicks followed by powerful swings. His boxing is very unorthodox, and he sometimes lunges into his power hand, creating a trade-off between power and vulnerability to counters. Despite not always remaining centered during combinations, Du Plessis effectively hides his stance shifts, maintaining unpredictability in his attacks. His ability to vary delivery methods keeps opponents guessing, and it allows him to land shots that often catch fighters off guard, which is why Du Plessis has been such a hard puzzle to solve, even for guys like Robert Whittaker and Sean Strickland. Most of the fighters Adesanya has beaten in the past have a certain rhythm about them. They move, throw, and dodge a certain way. Their combinations come from predictable angles, and their timing is never too hard to read. Adesanya is one of those rare talents who first makes reads on his opponents and then counters based on his real-time data analytics. He is a highly technical striker, but how will he cope with a guy who's very hard to read? What if the data is all over the place? It would be a tough ask for Adesanya, especially when you add wrestling, grappling, and strength to the equation. While it's true that Izzy has some of the best defensive wrestling in the UFC middleweight division, DDP is deceptively good on the mat. He isn't a Khabib or Khamzat when it comes to securing takedowns, but he knows what he has to do to take the fight to the mat. He likes to press his opponents, put them on the back foot, break their rhythm, and then catch them off guard for a trip to the canvas. Du Plessis is very well versed in the grappling department because he started his martial arts journey with judo and wrestling, with a takedown game that heavily relies on rugby tackles since he played the sport for quite a few years. Stillknox masterfully employs full-on tackles in the cage, using his incredible strength and strong muscles to force the fight to the ground. And once he takes the fight to the mat, he is an absolute menace with a solid ability to both land vicious ground and pound and submit fighters. The South African star is an extremely well-rounded fighter, and he's very durable as well. He can take a shot. He's young, he's hungry, and his confidence is through the roof. He has momentum on his side, unlike Israel Adesanya, who has his back against the wall and needs a special turnaround to reclaim his spot as the best middleweight on the planet. Ideally, Izzy should take a tune-up fight before he goes after the belt, because that will allow him to fight without the pressure of performing under bright lights, as well as provide him with an opportunity to bag a much-needed win. Izzy is lacking in confidence right now, and a win or two under his belt will really put him in a strong position to reclaim his lost glory. For now, the Nigerian New Zealander needs to stay away from Dricus Du Plessis, because that dude is on a killing spree. He's like a freight train with failed brakes, and he'll destroy anyone who stands in his way. At least that's what I think. But what about you guys? Can Israel Adesanya defeat Dricus Du Plessis? Or will Stillknox reign as the UFC middleweight champion for a long time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications. Thank you. If you like this video, then go ahead and click these two videos right here. Come on, you know you wanna.